A computer scientist has warned that graphs show that America and indeed most of the rest of the world is on the same trajectory as Italy. Let's read this and we'll discuss it as we go. America will be in lockdown like Italy in less than 2 weeks, computer scientist claims. Worrying graph shows how coronavirus cases in the U.S. are growing. As Surgeon General warns, the epidemic will get worse before it gets better. Well, and obviously it's going to get worse before it gets better because we haven't seen the peak phase of it yet. Fears over the rapidly growing number of coronavirus cases in the U.S. has led to questions over whether America will be forced to go into lockdown like parts of Italy and China, the countries which have been so far the worst hit by the epidemic. And incidentally, I know the numbers in China say one thing, but, I don't know. Something in me says I don't believe the numbers out of China. I don't. And secondly, wow, what a cost. What a cost. Their currently 804 cases of the virus in the United States, and 28 people have died from it. So we went from 10, taking about a week, a little bit less than a week to get 10, to a couple days to get up to 16, and now literally just a couple days now we're at 28. In Italy, the numbers are far more alarming. As of Tuesday morning, 463 have died, and there are 9,172 of it, cases of it. Italy confirmed its first case of the virus 11 days before the United States did. On Monday night, computer scientist Mark Handley, professor of networked systems and part-time robotics at UCL in London, tweeted a graph showing how growth figures in other infected countries compare to Italy's. Everyone else will be Italy in 9 to 14 days' time, Handley tweeted along with the data. Dr. John Crane, an infectious disease specialist and professor of medicine in the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at the University of Buffalo, agreed. He told DailyMail.com in an interview that the world had never seen anything like the outbreak, and that the U.S. seemed to be watching how Italy responded before making any drastic decisions of its own. It looks like they're on the exact same trajectory. Italy had an 11-and-a-half-day start, he said, referring to the data. And here is the graph. Italy is the purple graph. That's going to be this one right here. The United States is the other slightly less purple graph. That's down here, not quite up there yet, but look at this. Yeah, they're all pretty much on the same graph. Now, where's China? It doesn't even show China on here. I would like to see this compared to China's. And some people out there are going to get a kick out of this. The 33% daily increase is this line right here. Each day has a 33% daily increase. Kind of interesting that it's a steady 33% daily increase. When you have a straight line on a long scale, that signifies exponential growth. It's not unusual at the beginning for an epidemic like this, when no human being has any immunity and we don't have any viruses and we have no idea what it is and it's kicking our ass because it's taking us by surprise, basically. This doesn't change the fatality rate, just the growth rate. We've learned this virus is pretty darn contagious, yes we have, and about 2 to 3% fatal. This graph doesn't say anything about the case fatality rate that might be around 2%, but that's still 10 times higher than influenza. And we have things we can do about influenza. We don't have a vaccine for this. The situation in Italy is so bad some doctors have reported becoming overwhelmed and crying because they cannot stop people from dying and are being forced to choose who they save. And it's been confirmed on reports from Italy that certain doctors who are specialists or not certified to do one thing are given these information cards and told to do other procedures that they're not necessarily qualified for because they're so short-staffed. Reports are also that in Italy right now, if you suffer a stroke, they don't even take you to the hospital. Dr. Crane said it was impossible to know if or when the U.S. would reach a similar situation, or how long a potential lockdown would last. We're waiting to see what happens in Italy and other countries. We're waiting to see. They were under extreme conditions in China, where people were not allowed to come out of their house. We have no experience of that. Most of the country is much less densely populated, so we do not have to implement it everywhere in the rural places in our country. Rather, tell them to just maintain social distancing, not to go to bars and nightclubs, etc. But how long will that last before cabin fever sets in and people have that urge to go have human interaction? We're trying to learn from everyone else who's just a little bit ahead of us. If Italy's pace of infection, strict isolation policy, if Italy's pace of infection and strict isolation policy, we predict that it would level off, but we just don't know how long that will take. We're learning as we go, he said. Not exactly the most confidence-instilling phrases, I would say. We have this infection that is over there, and a lot of people are confirmed about it, but we're learning as we go, and we're just waiting to see. Okay. All right. I mean, I know you don't want to take drastic measures if you don't have to, but, you know, you could have worded it maybe a little differently. President Trump adamantly stated on Monday during the day that nothing in the country was shutting down or failing due to the virus, despite financial chaos that brought Wall Street its worst day since 2008, a mass of school closures, and growing number of diagnoses across the country. On Monday night, he conceded that the stock exchange chaos had blindsided him, but still urged people not to panic. And he's also having an economic bailout plan, a stimulus packet, things like that he is coming out with. The Dow Jones has recovered pretty sharply at the news of him implementing the package. He's urging the feds to lower their rates. We'll see how well that helps as well. Some people are saying that Trump is taking too less of a stand, saying, you know, we should be worried a little bit more about it. Some are saying that he's just fine in his stance. I would err more on the side of caution. I'd rather we be over-prepared rather than under-prepared. So originally, 95% of the cases were coming from China. Now most of the new cases are coming from Europe, Iran, South Korea. Interesting how that happens. Originally, let's see, they're looking at mitigation. Mitigation means within your community, how do you lower the impact of the virus and preventing it from spreading? Like I had said in previous videos, this is all going to boil down to community action. The government is not going to be logistically able to take care of us if we go on a mass lockdown. We'll see what happens. But yeah. Interesting. This is the news for you. There are also news of scientists saying that we haven't been panicking enough. I leave it up to you. You guys are smart. You guys know what steps to take that are best for you, best for your situation, if any. I do urge you, though, however, to possibly maybe consider erring on the side of caution. Maybe consider getting some extra supplies just in case. A little bit of extra toilet paper, maybe a way of storing food for at least a couple days. You know, I'm not saying go out and build your bomb shelter and things like that, but maybe get a little bit prepared. And it's good to have those extra supplies anyways in case, I don't know, a hurricane, an earthquake, who knows, any number of things could happen. Even just a power outage and you pull out your pack with your kids there and you have fun little shadow animals on the wall or something. You know, I mean, you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You know what I mean? I love you guys. I genuinely care for you guys. I will see you on the next one. And give me a thumbs up, a like, a share, a comment, and subscribe because, yeah, YouTube, YouTube. I love you. I'll see you on the next one.